Welcome, everyone. My name's Jeff St Laurent, and as you can see, I have an awesome guest waiting in the bullpen warming up. I'm going to bring her on in a second, one of my awesome mentor coaching clients. But before we get going, I just want to get through this stuff quick because it's important, but I want to get to the interview. I do record all these Tuesday live shows, and I put them on my website, sellingcoaching.com. I help coaches transition to a full-time business, so I've got great information in there, and where I want you to start off is right on the homepage. And if you enter your name and email address, where I kind of bribe you with my dog, you'll actually get it's an audio training course, and it's launching your full-time business, coaching business, the first 3 vital steps. So it's going to get you that instantly. And it's also going to put you in my email community so you can get great emails from me on a weekly basis, great education. But even more importantly than that, you can start to see how I communicate with my audience, which is such a vital piece of your business. But now I can't hold back anymore, because I want to welcome to the Tuesday Live show my great mentor coaching client, AliceAnne Loftus. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah. And I get excited for these because this is kind of like the success story of, years in the making. And it's not just, we've been together over 2 years at this point, right?
I think it's been like 3 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So time goes by. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long, right? But it's not even just the 3 years we've been working together. It's a culmination of everything prior to that too. But that's kind of where we're going to take it off today. And I'll just say, starting this off, and those that saw the intro to this is like a success story. But AliceAnne Loftus, this is a big applause for you. It'll be a silent or just me.
Thank you.
She, in August of this year, just hit in her coaching business, her first 6-figure income year. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
And this is big, but it's what I talked to AliceAnne before this, and what I want to highlight to everyone, because I remember when I did this my first year, I think it was back in 2005, in my coaching business, it's so not about the money. It's like, that's like
Totally.
the reward, but that's just it's just another day. And then, I hit it. But I really want to highlight the work that's involved, because I've been with her the path, and I've seen everything with that. And I want to highlight that because I want everyone on the other end listening to this, all those coaches out there, wherever you're at, to recognize that in order to achieve those types of results, what it really takes. So I want to stop talking. I want to bring it to you, AliceAnne. So let's rewind back those 3 years to that place where we started working in a group together. And if you can remember, I'm sure you can remember where you're at, like, talk to us about, like, where were you at, in your coaching business, mentally, just paint that picture for us.
Gosh, that is hard, going all the way back. Well, I had joined your mastermind class, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I think that I was even still trying to narrow down my niche and who I was going to work with. And I was taking pretty much anybody that I could get as a client. And I learned very quickly who my clients were not. And, I felt like the first round of working with you, I was really more of just an observer of what was going on and trying to wrap my head around all of it, because it is really scary to put yourself out there as a coach. And it's not like there's a product to sell. You're selling yourself. And so to feel very vulnerable and not really sure how to sell and how to market yourself and how to get out there in front of people and get the clients.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember, like, you classified that well, as you were kind of more an observer. Like, you so wanted to participate and do all the actions that we were kind of laying out for you. And it's not like you didn't do any of that. Yeah. But it was tough, and you'd get some flair, and it was emotional. You were going through a lot. And there were times where you came to the call and you were, if I can say, right, you were a mess.
Oh,
right?
I was bawling my eyes out. Like, What am I doing? This is hard. It was a little bit of a mess.
and that's okay. We've all been there before. But this is why I love doing these, is because it's real. It's like, we don't want to pretend that, we had it all together and this is an easy road. Like, no.
I didn't.
No, it's a good way. You were an observer, but you didn't give up. And you kept coming. And I remember thinking, I'm like, I never judged people like, oh, they'll make it or they don't make it. I remember thinking with you, I'm like, all right, here's a girl who really wants it. And it's right now in a spot where she's still trying to figure out a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it will to be determined where this is going to go.
Right.
You stuck with me through another round.
Mm-hmm.
And you started, it was, how would you classify it? You went from an observer to what?
To a
What was the transition?
No. I definitely started to take action, and I learned a lot about myself through that process. I mean, you've known me for a long time. I'm go, go, go. Like, I go hard, and then I fall hard too. You know, I would call you up and say, I have a client that isn't paying. I have people committing, but then they're ghosting me. And just getting to work with you and really honing in and focusing on the process of not just talking to people about coaching, but then qualifying them and getting them to actually sign on as clients. I felt like that was a really pivotal moment where I was having all these complimentary calls and not converting any of them to clients to, I think it was like one call with you, just going through the process. And then it just totally flipped that I was only having those calls with people I knew were going to sign up with me as clients. So I went from an observer to putting things into action to actually seeing some progress and filling up my schedule with clients.
Yeah. And I remember that too, that we went from that group pace and then we went to the one-on-one, and we did one-on-one for a couple of years, you know, and I remember specifically that call. It was like, it's like stuff you probably heard me say before.
Oh, totally.
You were in that spot where you're like, Jeff, I'm having all these calls and like no one's hiring me.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it was one call. We went through this, you know, what I teach. And it was like, I think it was the next week, you're like you had like a 5-figure, like,
yeah.
right?
Like, what was it? Like I got 5 new clients the next week. And I'm like, we should have led with that, Jeff.
Which is great. So and that's the biggest thing is so recognizing this, what I'll pull out of this, or I'm listening, people listening, is that, you know, it's not like you hadn't heard that stuff before.
Oh, right.
But
right.
sometimes you've got to be in the spot where it's like, now tell me.
Yeah.
And now we tell you, and it happens all the time. And all of a sudden it's just like, whoo. And that was, you really started perfecting that.
Yes. So
tell us about the process then, because then it started like, okay, now you're starting to earn some money, some real money.
Yes.
But it was, while we started to have a little structure, it was still kind of, I would kind of say maybe chaotic, where it's like we were just going, and it's like you knew how to get clients now, but we needed to kind of formulate this growing monster, so to speak.
Right.
So talk about that, how we started that process.
Well, I don't just do the coaching, the one-on-one coaching. I think you were working with me on creating this event that I wanted to do. And I was putting on an event with other coaches, and wasn't really, I didn't really know how to sell the event or how to get my name out there as a coach and to build the credibility of that. And so working with you and kind of talking through the processes again, and wanting to get those higher caliber clients that were really in it for the long run and ready to invest in themselves. We talked about different workshops that I could offer, ways to really get them to invest more time and money in me. And so I think you and I spoke a lot about the structure of the workshop, the big workshop that I was offering. And the one-to-one coaching was really starting to wear on me because there's only so many hours in the day. And I think I called you and I'm like, I've been on the phone for like 6 or 7 hours today. I'm absolutely exhausted. And so really just like you said, fine tuning exactly how I wanted to work. And, you know, never mind that I have a whole other business and then I have teenagers, and it's not, like you said, it's not like I was at all this free time to build this business. I needed to really prioritize my time and how I wanted to work. And you know, I take my summers off. I don't. So I wasn't really in a position that I wanted to be hustling and working 8-10 hour days with coaching clients. And so trying to prioritize how to funnel them in and get quality clients that I was working less but making more, that's I think kind of where the magic started to happen, and I started to get my groove with that.
Yeah, so it's starting to get the model with which worked for you, because like you said, you were getting one-on-one clients, but it's just like, and even from the very beginning, it was never really like your thing.
Yeah,
like it was like this love-hate relationship, but more hate,
Yes.
And
there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really started doing some work. And so let's start to highlight the time piece, and then we'll talk specifics of this. And I'm glad you started to bring that up, because we chatted about this before. One of the things that impresses me with you, and what I want people to understand is AliceAnne, and you can say this, is so you are a business owner prior to your coaching business.
Yes.
And now, in addition to your coaching business, that business is what?
So I own private preschools, and I've done that I'm in my 16th year of doing that. And they're still running. I'm a multi-site program. So I have 2 centers. I manage employees, directors. We have
roughly how many employees?
I think we're around 20, 25 now. We're a small business. And that's the coaching that I do. I work with women entrepreneurs, small business owners, and women in leadership. But I'm in the thick of it too. I've got HR issues, all the small business issues. I work with the Department of Education because I'm a preschool. And so I'm in the trenches too. I'm having the same struggles and challenges that my clients have. And so I know it. I live it.
So there's a piece with employees, and you're a master delegator. That's
master delegator. Yes.
So understanding how you can get people to work for you and help you out, that's a big component, I believe, to your success. There's no way you could be doing this all on your own. No way.
And part of leadership is not telling people what to do, getting them to follow you. Leadership is empowering other leaders. And so in my small business, my whole philosophy of my employees is to develop future leaders, is to get them to have autonomy in their job and to really take ownership of the work that they do. And so we're creating a culture of leadership that trickles down to even the children we work with. And that's really exciting. So I think at the end of the day, I'm a teacher at heart through and through.
Yeah. And it trickles over into your coaching business.
Absolutely.
And knowing you started the preschool because you're like, wow, you had kids of your own, and it's like you wanted to make sure they get the education, but you wanted to be able to be with them.
Right.
And so now that's trickled over. Now they're teenagers, right?
They're teenagers. Yeah.
2 of them.
I have 2 teenagers.
Mom of 2 teenagers. Got the multi-location with many employees, which I'm asking you to share. That business has also hit a financial milestone this year.
Yes. So we hit 7 figures this year with the preschool business. And that was really exciting. I mean, who knew you could do it? So really exciting. And my husband and I did the math, and just talking about the number of kids and families that have gone through, and to know that I've had like almost 4,000 or 4,500 kids go through this program. They're now like in college and they're coming back. And
crazy
to me. It's crazy. Yeah.
So I'm trying to paint this picture of what she's managing, obviously with your husband as well, who he has his own business as well. So there's a lot going on in the Loftus household.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes. And you're very health conscious.
Very health conscious.
You're very important. You're an active mother. Like you said, you want to be with your kids. So how do you, for someone listening to that, because there's people like, oh my God, I've got a job and I've got kids, and, the list goes on, and it doesn't, your circumstances, someone else's circumstances, right? Yeah. They're all maybe different stuff, but they're all stuff we're responsible for. So how does someone like yourself, and I said, I feel like one of your keys that from my observation is the delegation piece and being a leader like you are. But what do you feel, how you're able to keep it all together Because there's moments where you fall apart, but
Yeah.
how do you keep it all moving and to have that level of success on an ongoing basis?
Well, I am a master of priority management. I mean, time management is probably my greatest strength with the businesses. I mean, as a mom alone, you have to be pretty organized with time, and then you throw in another business and then another business. I wasn't gaining more hours. You still have 24 hours in a day. So I really had to identify my time, the priority and my priorities and how I wanted to spend my time and what the value of my time really is. People are always blown away. I only work 9 to 3, Monday through Thursday. No, really Tuesday through Thursday. Monday is kind of my catch-up day or recreational day, I guess, so to say. But I didn't do that overnight. I mean, one of my businesses is 16 years old, and the coaching business, I just got there, 4 years into it. So 3 years, almost 4 years. So it takes time, it takes investment, it takes trial and error, and really being diligent in going through your priorities and being ruthless about how much time you're going to commit to things. And if you're wanting to make the money, to know your value of that, to know the value of that time. And so I needed to optimize how to work with more people in less time. So I created my own masterminds, my own master classes, and that's really where my business took off. Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about your current model, because you went from one-on-one but you started doing your events. So talk about kind of that model a little bit so people can start to see, if you're not doing, you're doing some one-on-one coaching still, but very little, correct?
Very, very little. I only take 2 clients at a time with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just talk about your model a little bit so people can start to see how this all happens. Because, you're doing this on a very healthy schedule, 4 days a week within a reasonable 9 to 3, right?
9 to 3, because I gotta get my kids.
Summers off,
Yep.
To spend with your family and your kids. And so that's now granted, you have, another business. And so it's not like, oh, you're just working 9 to 3. There's a lot of other stuff you deal with.
There's a lot of other stuff.
Talk about the coaching model that you're using so people can see that.
So I have an online community. I think we're going to hit 3,000 members probably today or tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, that was really exciting. And so I built this online community and then built my email list up so that I'm actually connecting and people are getting to know me on just a really, I guess, non-committal way. They're getting to dabble with me and learn about me and trust me through that. And once that community started to build, I started offering these monthly workshops.
Can I pause you?
Yes.
Because I know people listening to right now okay, you built an online community and you built your email list. Well, How did you do that? Because I'm having trouble doing that, right? So not specific, how did you do that?
Well, my philosophy in connecting with people is to never sell to them. So I do not sell to my community. I follow the same rules and guidelines. They're allowed to promote their business at the first of the month, but the whole other philosophy and feel of the community is 100% connection. If you just want to connect with somebody, and remember, we're all women in leadership in this community here, so we're dealing with the same crap. We don't really have a safe space to share this. So I built this. It really is. It's like a little tribe, a tribe of women that just look out for each other. And I'm constantly making connections in there, not connections to me, but connections to each other, to the people who participate in the community. So, and most of them are women business owners. I'm all about supporting local business, supporting women in business. And so I made it worth their while to be part of that community, that just by being part of that community, I was going to make sure that I was making meaningful connections with them and for them. And it just blew up because I and I don't think I'm anything great or special in that, other than I don't have an agenda in there. I just want them to have a safe place to connect with other women. Now, through that, women really did start to connect with me and start to trust me. And they were like, hey, can you talk more about this? Can you talk more about that? And so I started offering live, as in on-site workshops. So I live in Annapolis, cute city. I rent out the space once a month, and I offer a workshop about anything from stress management to building your email list to setting boundaries in your business. And the women who wanted to really get to know me more intimately, they come to those workshops. And they're not free. You have to pay to be there. So I know that the women that are there really know the value of the time, know the value of the topic, and want to spend time learning and empowering each other. And so I built this presence in the community for that. And then that led into, if people really, really wanted to work with me even more focused, they could either join one of my master classes or work with me one-on-one. So it was a tiered system.
Yeah. So you've got monthly events, roughly 10 a year?
10 a year. Yeah.
10 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So would that evolve from, remember, because I remember you did the first one.
Yeah.
It's 60 people that show up on that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
and you sent me pictures after the first, and I'm like, what? And it was like, you just blew this up. And,
fell out. Yeah.
We had discussions about how hard it is to fill a room. And I was sitting there like, how did she do that? We talked about it and stuff, but it was like, it was great. So 10 of those events a year,
mm-hmm.
$60 a head, right? What is it?
They're around 30 to 45, depending on kind of, what it costs me and what is involved. Yeah.
So you got the people in the room, 60 people in the room. There's a fee to get into the space. So
mm-hmm.
it's building that. So you get 10 events a year. That's
mm-hmm.
evolved. And so what else do you sell at the events? Because you have
I have merchandise. So the name of our community is insane.
How do you monetize?
Yeah. I have merchandise. And I think my approach is totally different because nothing has my contact information on it. So we call ourselves the Leading Ladies, and it's become this tribe. So I can't tell you how many times a day my phone blows up. Like, I saw this here. I saw a pen here, or I'm a leading lady. And I was at a meeting yesterday, and a woman even said to me, oh, I found her in our group, not your group, not my group, our group. So it's just logo wear, that they wear this stuff that says Leading Lady, and it doesn't represent me, it represents them. And so they're totally invested in that, of being a woman, a lady who's leading her life. I say they're living, loving, and leading on their own terms. And they're just all in. So I've got these little groupies or followers that come to these events. They bring their friends. They buy the merchandise. They sport it. They wear it all around town or wherever they are. And they just keep filling the workshops.
You created this brand, this feel-good brand,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So you've got the workshops themselves where you get the ticket sales mm-hmm. there. We're talking about the branding of it, the feel of it, but then how you're monetizing it so people can see it, right? Yeah. So we get the ticket sales there. We get the merchandise sales there. Then you've mm-hmm. got small amounts of one-on-one coaching.
Very small.
But more higher end one-on-one stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you've got this group program that you've run. And how many times did you run it this year?
The masterclass or the masterclass. So I did, I'm about to start my 5th one of the year, and they sell out. They're limited to 9 participants. I would space them out to start one every 3 months. So at any given time, there's 2 that overlap. But I got in 5 total for the year.
Nice.
And
so far, are you going to do one more after this, a 6th, or are you just calling it at 5?
I'm just calling it at 5.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a pretty simple setup in that, in the format of it, but it's not simple in, I'm very careful about who I select and who I pair up, because again, it's about the connection, and they're not just getting group coaching. I'm also making sure there's value in the connections that they're making, that they're creating these like power spheres of people who they're totally invested in building that woman's business, because if her business is successful, their business is going to be successful. And so, and they just go out into their communities and they're just powerhouses. They're bonded. They're cheering on for each other. They're supporting each other's events, and they're relying on each other without me, which I feel that we want our clients to get to a place where they don't need you, that you've empowered them, and helped develop leaders in them. And so I love that. I love the women are connecting and going on.
Absolutely. So there's that space. And then last we spoke there, now with these 10 events of the year, you're getting sponsors for the events.
Yes. So I've created a subgroup called Leading Lady Ambassadors, and they are all small business owners, women, small business owners that support other women in business. So accounting, website development, marketing materials, things that we all need for our business. So they're ambassadors. They're the hosts or the sponsors of all my events. They get marketing through that. It provides a platform for them that I've vetted them. They live up to the Leading Lady standard, that they're going to be fair and respectful, and they're all about empowering women in business and being a resource for them, not a sales pitch. That's a big thing for me. And so it's created this like little community of leading ladies that are really your go-to ladies to help you with your business needs and leadership needs. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
We'll show that there's meaning behind her message. Mm-hmm. And then there's ways of pulling it together where she's monetizing from different avenues, from events, large events, then these 10 events. She's got sponsors for the events. There's master classes come out of it. There's one-on-one. There's merchandise. Now there's these sponsors. So there's all these threads that add up to this, but you've created it on your terms in your time frames.
Yeah.
And we finally, I feel like this year we've got to this space where you have a handle on it all.
Yes.
Whereas, we're like, we're doing this event, and it was just like, if I can give kudos to you for anything, when you're on the phone with me and we're like brainstorming an idea together, and we're bouncing back and forth and we put it together, it's like you leave that call and it's like you just sprint.
I do.
And it's like, I remember the first time we derived the master class with the 9 people, and we worked through all the logistics of it, the pricing of it. It's like the next day, she emails me, and I'm pretty much sure it was like 9 people signed up and paid.
Yeah, it was less than 36 hours.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I knew that's how you rolled from once you really started going. It was like, you executed. It wasn't like, all right, well, a month later, I'm still thinking about it and putting it together. Yeah. Like you just.
Oh no, I take action right away. And my coaching style is that way. I work with high achievers. I work with very type A people, doers, action takers. And so I think when people sign on to work with me, there's that trust and integrity there that we're going to move fast. And that's not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a fast processor. I love that. Life is short. We only have one. We should be chasing our dreams ruthlessly, like get out of my way. And it served me well. But when we sprint, we fall hard. And you've been there for that as well. So I never want to glamorize this or say that, oh, this was so easy. I was an overnight success. I sold my things out in 24 hours. It has to be very intentional and thought out. And once you decide to go, you got to go. You got to go all in.
Yeah. And that's like we said, there's been places where you've sprinted and you have fallen, and sometimes you've fallen pretty hard
Yep.
and pretty exhausted, and rightly so based on the work that you did, especially
Yeah.
with a lot of the events that you do. And like, it's exhausting, you
Yeah.
know, and I relive some of that with you, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing to validate it for you, but like, it's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the ticket sales they're exhausting for me. And I remember talking to you and saying, I hate, like every month I'm just staring at Eventbrite. Like, did I sell a ticket? Didn't I? Even though I did sell out every month, I didn't enjoy that part of it. And that's when you and I were like, we need ambassadors. We need sponsors for this, because then it's not just on me to fill these events. These women are speaking for the events as well, and they're invested in it, and they're bringing people in. And so you really were great about tapping into my strengths of delegating, you know, and then reminding me not to give it away, because I'm like, yes, that's covered. Now I don't have to charge for that. And you're like, stop. You still need to charge. And so I think there was value in, sometimes I didn't even know what strength of mine I needed to tap into.
Yeah,
And
no, exactly. I knew you were going to fill the seats no matter what. So
yeah.
if you take the pressure off and you get these ambassadors to pay you whatever, $5,000 a year to do,
Yeah.
you know, now you don't have to worry about ticket sales, but now every
Mm-hmm.
ticket sale that you have, which you're going to sell and fill anyways, is
Yeah.
actually just more profit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember that moment and you're like, okay. And it's also, then it's motivating because you don't have to fill the seats because
I don't have to fill the seats.
Everything's taken care of.
And it's very self-prophesizing. You know, you take that pressure off and you're not worried about the sales of it. You can just let your purpose and your passion shine through, and that sells the seats. But like getting out there and like hustling and trying to get people to buy something that was really draining to me. Yeah. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what I say is, like, as someone listening now, as we wrap this up, is, you know, oh my God, well, I want to do these 10 events and I want to do a year and then sponsors and I want to merchandise and I want to do a master class and all these other things. It's like this is an evolution over 4 years.
Yes.
And that's the message. Is so where we start off is just going through the mess and maybe being an observer and figuring it all out. And then one step at a time, and then doing some one-on-one, whether you like it or not, and then just evolving and understanding it. And when you do the work and you do it hard, you can get to this spot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So before we go, AliceAnne, we got some people on watching us and making some comments and stuff like that. But I'm going to put your website up there, and just, you've talked about your brand as we've gone through, but just I'll put the website up there and just kind of tell them, you know, just a little bit more about that and how they can, you know, get into your community, you know, on Facebook and wherever they are.
Well, the best way to get involved is to join Leading Ladies with AliceAnne Loftus. It's a closed Facebook group. We're right at 3,000 members, 2,900 members. It is a women's only group, but start there if you're interested in learning more about that community. The website is under construction because in my beginning, and I will tell this to all the coaches out there, you got to have something where people can find you. I think I invested, $200, $300 to build my first website. And so I'm going through a major makeover right now of getting it updated and having all the services I offer on there. But connect with me on Facebook, follow me on my professional page, follow me on Instagram. I do a lot more on Instagram than I do my business page. And it's just leading_lady_coaching. But connect with me. And if you have specific questions, I answer everyone. I really do that. It's authentic to me. It is about connections. If you have questions, if you want to know my biggest bloopers, I will tell them to you. I am authentic, if nothing else. So, yeah.
Yeah, you 100% are. I can agree to that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And AliceAnne, before we head off, what would you say the biggest value for you has been with our work together with mentor coaching?
Gosh, there's so much. I I don't allow myself to be as vulnerable as I did with you. And I think it was just because you gave that honesty back. You shared kind of how you did things and where your struggles were, but you also really challenged me to do things on my terms, not to do what was successful for somebody else or what I saw over there, but you asked really hard questions about what I wanted in my life as a mom and as a small business owner, and, just constantly asking me, how do you want to do this? What's going to fit in your lifestyle? And so I really appreciate those tough questions and how you didn't let up.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. It's been so incredible. I just huge congratulations to you. This is really only the beginning. The cool part is that you kind of found something that works for you. And of course it's going to evolve, and
Totally.
there's going to be those other moments where you're like, you're going to be thirsty for more because that's who you are.
I just did my 2020 plan. It's going to knock your socks off.
Yes. We've got these phases where we'll do this work and all of a sudden she's off and we don't talk for, 2, 3, 4 months. And all of a sudden it's like, all right, it's on. We just go back at it and it's like, all right,